Brando, if you could give one tip, one strategy, one, pearl of wisdom to millennials or people, our age like us, who are currently navigating this current situation, what would be one thing that you would like to share with them?
As in a survival tip or a leadership tip,
Either or both.
or both? Hmm. I think um, I think at the leadership level, I'll start there and see what comes. I think at the leadership level, we have to have the courage to disappoint other people's expectations of us if we really want to exercise leadership in this moment. And what I mean by that is that leadership is really risky. Yeah. It takes risk, it takes challenge to put your neck out, yeah, and to say, I believe in something, I stand up for something, I want to mobilize you towards something, yeah. And because it's so risky, we often try to avoid that work, and we look to our authority figures to fulfill that function. Yeah, so it's too much for me. So, maybe that's something for the police to do, or the prime minister, or the president, or the school principal, or even the parents of my family. Yeah, that's a conversation for them to do. That's a measure for them to enact. Yeah, but I think if we really want to exercise leadership in this moment, given the disorder of things, we need to be willing to to partner with authorities and to share some of that load, to share some of that responsibility with the authority figures, and to kind of ground that a bit in some actual examples. I'm talking here about the difficulty, the challenge of, as a peer, telling your friends to practice physical distancing when they're not doing it. Yeah. Or that's a difficult conversation to have. That pulls your neck out of the circle, whether you like it or not. Yeah, it's something we'd prefer not to do. We don't want to be seen as mightier than, or higher above the crowd or above the group. But that's actually an act of leadership. That's a defiant act, right? If we really want to work with the collective to overcome this virus. A colleague of mine the other day was telling me that she's pregnant with her second child, with her second, yeah, it's a second pregnancy, and she had to tell her parents, because her parents are not doing physical distancing. She had to tell her parents that her parents can no longer look after her first child when she gives birth to the second child, right? Because of the health risks. And that as a result, her parents are not talking to her. They've stopped talking to her. There's risk there, yeah. But that's a courageous act of leadership. She disappointed her parents' expectations of her, yeah, because she really believes in her mission here, in her purpose of safeguarding her family, of safeguarding her community, of safeguarding her parents, of making a contribution to this more systemic, more global effort to beat the virus. So I think as a tip, and whatever, advice is cheap, but I think as a tip, we need to think of ways in which we can disappoint others at a rate that they can handle, so that we can actually partner with authorities to share the responsibility. We can't always be looking towards the police or the prime minister or the president or wherever you live to be the only ones to be fulfilling those functions right now. Every day, every moment of every day is crying out with opportunities for us to exercise leadership. Yeah, it's knocking on our door. The question is really, are we willing to open the door and to invite it in? Yeah, or are we just going to pretend like no one's knocking and hopefully someone else will deal with it? Yeah.